Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Brother and sister in the Dhamma. Their topic is Sharing Merits Guide by the 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽 Sutta. Especially during this season, we will share about this topic as a reminder for us, teaching of Buddha. So now we pass the session to Bhante Vanaratana.
Okay, thank you, Sister Tang Yixing. So, can everybody hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. I wish you all a very good evening. And all the venerables and sisters, brothers, so those who are joining for this virtual Dhamma talk. Hope that everybody can hear me properly. If any issue is there, please let me know. And can see my slide also. Hope that you are okay to see the slides.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Okay, let's start then. As sister introduced, so she's the one really organizing this series of Dhamma talk. So invited me especially to talk about the timely important topic. This is about the sharing merits, basically guided by the 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽 Sutta. But my attention will be paid not only towards the 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽 Sutta. We can discuss by means of many other different suttas and where that Buddha has delivered his Dhamma talk, especially related to this matter. And initially, we know that we are in the period of Chimbing. So especially, it is not bit familiar with the Sri Lankan people. In the audience, I think no only one venerable here. Bhante Quality is here, no any other one. So this is very familiar thing. So especially for the Malaysian people, Chinese, especially Malaysian Chinese people, they are having a particular 1 month to share merits for their, to remember, to commemorate their ancestors, those who passed away, so departed one. So this is the way they are showing their love, the support, and the way they are showing their gratitude, and also they are respecting their departed ones. Therefore, most important thing, sharing merit is one of the cultural things, as well as it is a kind of thing that we have been practicing for many years. So not only during the time of the Buddha, so according to the teaching of the Buddha, so we are having with the kind of a Buddhist teaching, but it is of course older than that. But there are many things to discuss related to this matter. There are many questions. I will go through those questions later, and also hope at the end of my Dhamma talk, so you can raise any question if you want to further discuss about them. But I believe that when you listen this Dhamma talk, so some of issues, some of a problem that you are having related to this matter, you can solve up to some extent through this Dhamma talk. So sharing merits, when we come to this topic, especially our departed relatives or the immediate relatives, once your friend or anybody, once they departed, basically we don't have any other way to keep in touch with them. The primary way that we are having, that we are using to performing some activities, and we earn some merits, and we transfer those merits. In Buddhism, especially in 𝗘𝗵𝗶 Buddhism, when we transfer merits, so we are having kind of things like symbols. So we know normally those of use. And the second thing, when we transfer merits, as I mentioned, so as Buddhist devotees, 𝗘𝗵𝗶 Buddhist practitioners, they used to have a kind of tools like empty cup, the cup full of water, and pouring water into the empty cup, so symbolizing the empty one like a departed one, and the cup, the other cup like full of water is symbolizing, representing, or those who earn or engage some meritorious deeds, those who got some merits, symbolized through that cup full of water. And when you go and when you see some other things like some other, especially in the all major school in Buddhism, they are having different ritual activities, but the intention is to transfer merit for the departed one. You see that I think very much familiar things like burning papers. So through burning papers, so they are having another kind of way to transfer merits for the departed one. So that is why I mentioned, so even though there are some unequal way they are having, but the intention, the primary purpose is, of course, to transfer merits to departed ones. So the sharing goodness is like giving a gift. We do good things like helping others or being kind, and then we offer the goods energy from those action to our departed loved ones. Sharing goodness not only helps those who have passed on, but also make us feel good inside. The term we use here, patidana, that is the term we use normally to the transferring merits. When you go through the 10 wholesome activities, so patidana is one of them. Now, important thing, so when we transfer merits, especially we have to understand most important thing, the transferring merits, what really we understand and whether it is really correct with the teaching of the Buddha. The way we are transferring merits is really correct with the teaching of the Buddha. So basically we are showing the gratitude towards the departed relatives. So it's mentioned, merit transfer is directing one's own good deeds or the karma to benefit another beings. Practice of merit transfer, common all major Buddhist tradition. As I earlier mentioned, I'm taking a kind of initial steps for you to have a kind of a background to understand why we are showing gratitude or why still we are transferring merit for the departed ones. So sometimes when you listen properly this one, some sort of questions that you are having, you can understand so what kind of way we have to do and what are the kind of misunderstanding you are having regarding of this. So this is something very common for the whole major Buddhist tradition, but there are the way they are having the ritual activities could be some different things we can see. So as I earlier mentioned, like we used to have a kind of tools like empty cup and cup full of water, and some Buddhist tradition used to offer some of things different way, and also they used to burn some papers and so many things. So anyhow, the final intention is to transfer merit for the departed one. But the transferring merits is very easy. When you see the things how you have to do, they are like first you have to do good things or whatever wholesome deeds, and then you wish to that good deeds, good things you have done help someone specific or everyone, and you can think this, or you can wish, and or you can loudly you can transfer merit. So this is the normal way. So like engage in type of good things, and you believe that you got some merits, and you transfer it. So by especially you can wish, and as well as you can loudly express your the way you are transferring merits. But most important thing, what is the important thing? The most important part here, treats others while they are living or after they die. Actually, the merit transferring is something else. But when you go through many of the suttas, because we are having numerous opportunities to accumulate merits through our actions, but we are having a less opportunity to transfer merits. Why? Personally, we can do a lot of things. We can engage some sort of good deeds. But when you transfer merits, the departed one, if they have not born in a suitable realms, they cannot obtain these merits. They cannot receive these merits. It means they should have a kind of a qualification, have born in a suitable realms or suitable place. So only then they can receive. But as a living being, so we are of course okay to continue our engaging good type of wholesome deeds, and we can earn merits. But most important thing in Buddhism, we transfer merits basically to people we know well, to whom people we know well. Could be ancestors, could be relatives or immediate relatives, or could be your beloved one, your parents, or those who passed away, something like that. But Buddhism always appreciate what we can do for them while they are living. If you go through the many suttas like Brahma Sutta, Singalovada Sutta, and so many suttas, always appreciate, admire what we can do for them while they are living. So therefore, first of all, you have to understand the Buddhism encourage you not to transfer merits more than that, but transferring merits is something important. But more than that, if you can treat your relatives or the parents or the ancestor while they are living, that is what really important thing. So we have to understand then the merit transferring is come in the second place, what we can do for them while they are living. I saw some question, can transfer merits. So among the questions that some of you have raised, I went through some questions, but what I really noticed there, can transfer merits, or can they receive the merits what we transfer? They have a lot of notion regarding that. Some notions, some ideas, bit controversial. Some ideas very actually, sometimes we understand and we express our ideas depend on the knowledge what we have up to now. The one of the famous writer, he has expressed his view about this one, especially he says like Richard Gombrich, he says like is a kind of emotional need. He examined some Sinhalese community in Sri Lanka, the Sinhalese Buddhist community. So what he realized, it is an emotional need, like once our relatives or our beloved one, once they departed, so we don't have a way to control our emotion, and only what we can do, performing some wholesome deeds and showing our respect for them and doing some kind of activities, especially to transfer merits. And once we transfer merits, then we feel kind of relaxed. So he mentioned it is a kind of emotional need. Actually, when I go through some question that you had raised here, I notice to some extent your question also like asking, of course, can we transfer merits, or else the merits that we transfer, is it possible to receive for the departed ones? Okay, we come to the topic here. This is the important part. I think you have to pay more attention on this particular part. Then only you can understand, notice exactly our ideas and where it is to be changed. So how it actually, what Buddha of course taught. So there are three things according to the and the third one is maybe not bit clear for you. We know that when we say like the children looks like their parents, and what parents are having kind of qualities, so almost the same way the children also have those. Could be the physical things, could be whatever the behaviors or the actions or the thought patterns or whatever thing. So that is what we call genetical factors. Even some kind of illness, some kind of sick, so even those things are also affecting to children. This what we get from genetically. It is very clear. And the second one is the environmental factors. So we see that some people in the society, even though they are nourished with the genetical factors, but with the time being, the way they move into the society while they are working with other people, and they are having kind of a different experience. With that experience, so they are of course changing some of things. That is what we call environmental factors. This is very clear. So sometimes even though we can get an example. the one family, same family, but if the brothers and sisters, they are living in a separate way, like they are working far away, so when they, after a long time, after 20-30 years later, when they meet, we can see some differences from them. So that is what, as mentioned here, environmental factors, how affect for their life changes. The third one is transmigratory factors. Can you mute the microphone, please? Okay. Third one, something I cannot hear. Okay, don't. Can you mute the microphone, please? Okay. Okay. The third one is transmigratory factors. So this is what we call karma theory. So it's mean the first two things easily we can see, visible, but the third one a little bit difficult to see, and we should have a kind of enough knowledge through the knowledge through what we get through the dhamma, the practice of dhamma. Then to some extent we can see how that transmigratory factors are affecting to our life. So basically we say that the inequality in the world because of the affections or affecting of the karma. So that is normal understanding. So now the problem, the genetical factors and environmental factors and transmigratory factors. First two things I mentioned is really visible to see, but transmigratory factors bit impossible to see. So there are another important two things in Buddhism. The teaching of the Buddha, like this, the sensory perception and extrasensory perception. If you go with the genetical factors and environmental factors, these two matters are come under sensory perception. What does the sensory perception mean? By using your own faculties, by using your own organs, could be your eye, could be your nose, your ear, your whatever thing, you can directly see the things clearly. That is what we call sensory perception. Mostly the scientific knowledge, normally scientific knowledge, they appreciate the sensory perceptual knowledge. But the last one, transmigratory factors are coming under the extrasensory perception. So what is this extrasensory perception? This is we call atrindriya pratyaksha. It means this is not possible. This is impossible for us to get this knowledge only by using your sensory organs. It means the faculties by using your normal organs. This knowledge you cannot earn. But the normal organs, your eye, your ear, the things could be kind of way conducive, helpful for you to come to this level. But extrasensory perception is something invisible, something impossible to directly, quickly, immediately explain, just depend on the superficial appearance of the physical or the what we call like after examining the superficially, we cannot explain about anything related to extrasensory perception. So remember, all the karmic factors are coming under extrasensory perception. Therefore, if you want to further explain this one, it is just like this. Now, a lot of people say they are asking some question, can transfer merits? The merits come under the transmigratory factors. It means under the extrasensory perception. It is not a sensory perception. But the merits is not something visible thing like other things. But extrasensory perceptual thing, we should understand once, if we have enough knowledge, if we are having that particular knowledge, particular level of our mind, only then we can understand. So it means those who are not having extrasensory perceptual knowledge, so they sometimes, that's why the can transfer merit is a question actually. But directly we cannot say whether it is possible or impossible. So if I say it is possible, you may have a lot of things. Why? How it is possible? It is impossible. So it means if we accept the word of the Buddha, we know that Buddha had this the knowledge about to explain these things in a proper way. So it means if we are accepting the rest of the teaching of the Buddha, but we are not accepting the word of the Buddha regarding this transferring of merits. So you have to understand, sensory perceptual knowledge is not the knowledge, is not the ultimate truth. And the extrasensory perceptual knowledge, someone who are not having extrasensory perceptual knowledge can reject the merit transferring is something like that. Why? Example, if you go through the 𝗦𝗥𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀 Sutta, I'm explaining further for you to understand why this extrasensory perceptual knowledge should have. When Buddha explained the 𝗦𝗥𝗵𝗿𝗀 Sutta, there's a very important point there. The word of the Buddha heard by the Brahmas who are living in the different planet, we call it Akanita. Those who are reborn in Akanita Brahma world, the Akanita planet, they are with the two good knowledge, they are with the two super knowledge. The one is actually 𝗘𝗵𝗶, the other one is 𝗘𝗵𝗀𝗀. So we have to understand 𝗘𝗵𝗶 and 𝗘𝗵𝗀𝗀 mean what? 𝗘𝗵𝗶 mean if they actually pay more attention, even the subtle thing they can see. 𝗘𝗵𝗀𝗀 mean if they want, they can hear even the subtle thing, even the things what they really want to hear, it is possible. And the people who born in Akanita Brahma world, they also had these two qualities. Buddha also had these two qualities. What was the result? The result was what Buddha preached, delivered, it was heard by them. So they were able to listen to it because of their skills. Even Buddha also mentioned in the sutta itself that the people, the Brahmas in the Akanita world, they gave the sadhu, voice sadhu. So after rejoicing, after listening to the word of the Buddha, the first sermon. But see the communication in between Buddha and the Brahmas in Akanita planet. But those who are not having these two qualities, we call divine eye and divine ear. If we are not having these two qualities, what we are doing basically, we are rejecting it. We say it is impossible. So those who have and those who only appreciate the sensory perceptual knowledge, then they only believe that one. They are not going to believe any other thing. So then you have to understand, so how this thing, the transmigratory factors mean what we call the merits or the demerit, it is impossible to see, this invisible thing, but it's come under the extrasensory perceptual knowledge. So those who are having the wisdom through extrasensory perceptual knowledge, the way they look at the thing, the way they explain the thing, if we are not having that proper understanding, we cannot reject it. Buddhism, you have a freedom to see everything in an analytical way, in a critical way. That is what we call vibhajyavada. It is a vibhajyavada, is a Buddhism. We use the term for the Buddhism. So you can divide everything. You can actually separately see the things. You can ask some question, no issue about that. But if you are not having this knowledge, it means you or me, myself, cannot reject it, or it doesn't matter, you are not accepting, but you cannot totally reject it. Why? We are not achieving, we are not having this knowledge. You think for a while, how many opinions, how many ideas that you had earlier, maybe you can you can imagine a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago, the things you had, how many things you have changed by today? How you change those things? With your understanding. If you are not having understanding, how can you change? So that is what extrasensory perceptual knowledge is, the knowledge that those who enlightened being, they are having this knowledge. So then the merit transferring is something what mentioned in Buddhism. So somebody mentioned like 𝗘𝗵𝗶 Sutta is not something originally uttered by the Buddha. Okay, if you are leaving the 𝗘𝗵𝗶 Sutta, but if you pay attention to many suttas throughout the Tripitaka, throughout the basket of the Buddha, you see example Brahma Sutta, as well as Sonadanda Sutta, as well as Singalovada Sutta. Why even they also mention this transferring merits is very important thing after departing, after passed away, your parents or the ancestors. So then you have to understand, based on our knowledge, if we are rejecting something that is not nice. So we have to further examine, we have to further engage. If it is something practically you can think, if it is something not real, not truth, why it has been practicing for more than 2,600 years up to today? Still we are practicing this one. We are practicing this one because something is there. There have a 3 words I have used. Tata, avitata, ananyata. You remember, the word of the Buddha is the word of the Buddha, of course, full of meaning. Those words we cannot change. In the commentary, use 3 words to explain the meaning of the word of the Buddha. First one, tata, avitata, ananyata. What does it mean? Tata mean, what Buddha delivered, it is the same. Many years ago, more than 2,600 years ago, what Buddha uttered, what Buddha proclaimed, what Buddha delivered, taught, so it is the same. And avitata mean, it cannot be changed. As you want or as I wish, I cannot change even a single word of the Buddha. We cannot change. See, anybody has changed? Cannot. Because no any space there to change anything. Buddha has used the systematic way and the right order. All the words taught by the Buddha. So tata mean, it is the same. So we cannot make any changes, amendment. We cannot be done there. The avitata mean, the meaning is, so we cannot be changed the order of the word. And ananyata, nya is actually the meaning or the wisdom. So here the meaning, ananyata, we cannot, it cannot be given any other meaning. It has its own meaning. We cannot give any meaning. So you can, when you have a question like that, you always can go with the teaching of the Buddha. If the word so you can clearly understand why people have been practicing for many years this kind of quality. Oh, can you hear me? So something wrong with my internet here. Hope you can see and you can hear.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. Because I got a message mentioning my internet is not okay. So then this is very important thing for when you come initial step for this sutta. So more than thinking about whether it is possible or not, better you go with the teaching of the Buddha, and then by yourself you can decide whether this one is right or wrong. Okay, and this transferring merits is something very common thing. Even as I mentioned earlier, so it is in all the major school in Buddhism, could be the Vajrayana, could be the Northern Buddhism and the Southern Buddhism, what we call the term we use Mahayana Theravada, but I basically suggest Northern and Southern Buddhism. So even all these Buddhist practitioners in a different way they are having, even in the Hinduism, Jainism and Sikhism, no need to go through these things. But I just wanted to mention, this is not what only the Buddha explained and introduced this thing to world. That is what you have to understand. The Buddhism, the Buddha has used a very beautiful the way to deliver, explain the factors, understand in the particular society, contemporary society. We use the term for this one, syncretism of Buddhism. It means Buddha never wanted to change this kind of a thing, but Buddha gave a good meaning for those. When you see there's a worship of the sixth direction, it was a kind of a belief in Hinduism. It had been practicing for many years by the people. So what Buddha did, he gave a meaning for those. Each sixth direction represents different kind of duties we have to fulfill. Out of the different duties, this one duty is actually after departing, after passing away your beloved one, it is your duty to transfer merits and engage some good wholesome deed and transfer merit for them. Therefore, This is, you don't just think like only in the Buddhism, this is something common, but totally the intention, the way they are doing, the ritual part could be very huge difference, huge gap you can see, but still they won't, however, console their departed one, to make happy their departed one, while they are also like having kind of a relaxed thinking that we did our gratitude, we did our responsibility for them. Okay, so the importance of merit transfer in Buddhist practice. This is another important before discussing the sutta. So in the we sing in the popular Buddhism, actually, the transfer of merit, which give us the wrong impression that merit is like currency or like a commodity that can be given to someone. This is the basically what we are holding. So we think that we can transfer merits, and the merits is something like that. It is a kind of way we are giving money for someone to make happy them. But this is something wrong. You remember, in Buddhism, practicing the merits transferring is not very easy. Example, we'll take one. We give dana. We give dana for monks, or we give food someone. The intention, of course, earning merits. You know, that is not bad. We can remember, we can actually commemorate our departed one, our beloved one. But if we know the real way of giving dana, so you will, of course, you will understand how difficult to give dana the right way. Sometimes people give dana, so they want to get some different things. Sometimes they are expecting to success their career, business, or to protection, expecting protection, or so a lot of expectation they are having. In Buddhism, that could be okay with other religions. But in Buddhism, you should not have any expectation. If you are having the expectation, actually the transferring merits to your departed one is the expectation, but through the expectation you practice give up. So the merits you accrued by engaging so many good deeds having done, so you are transferring all the merits thinking to my departed one have a better life, better rebirth, or something like that. But this is if you are doing practical way, actually you are give up the things belong to you, give up your energy, you go through the engage in some activities. But on the other hand, it is also dana. When you transfer merits to someone, if you do in the right way, so it means you give up the things you have, and it is also dana. Therefore, we have to understand in the philosophy of Buddhism, like a Buddhist philosophy, merits. Why I said it is no should have expectation. We have born as human being because of the merits. But even though we born as human being, still we are undergoing some difficult situation in our life. Example, we all know we are experiencing impermanence. We are facing so many difficulties. Could be either physically or mentally. And some the situation not favor to us. Even though we have born as a result of doing good merits, wholesome deeds, as a human being, still our life is full of suffering. Don't misunderstand, the suffering is something not the pessimistic way I explained. This is the realistic. But even though those who are born in the animal world, or animal or like any other realms, even they are experiencing this impermanence. So the result of the wholesome things also having existence, results of the demerits also having existence. But luckily, if you are having the good thing, the result could be very beneficial for you. As you are born as a human, then you are having opportunity like this to listen the word of the Dhamma, word of the Buddha, as well as to practice this teaching. But those who are not like that, even they actually undergoing only suffering, but they are not having this real teaching of the Buddha. So therefore, the word of the Buddha mentioned in the philosophy of the Buddhist philosophy, sankhara paccaya viññāna. The sankhara means good or bad thing, whatever thing. Result of good or bad thing is sankharapattaya viññānaṁ, you are having consciousness, or the viññāna is another birth. Therefore, our practice should be, definitely, it should be practiced in the right way, not giving. Through the giving you practice, give up. There's so many examples we can take. So sometimes culturally we are having offering some things to the Buddha. Example, we are offering flowers. But the offering flowers, if we are expecting more merits and my life become like a flower, and also the color, and we are expecting like vannagandha gunopetaṁ etaṁ kusuma santatiṁ, something like that in the meaning. But if you go the real meaning, 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽𝗀𝗀 kusumena nena puññena metena labahami mukkam pupphammilayati yata idamya, how that flower is going to fade away. The same way my life is of course going to be changed, and my life is something like, then you are thinking the real situations of our life. It is, you don't get misunderstanding, it is not pessimistic. So Buddhism, neither pessimistic nor optimistic, but realistic. So therefore, you can come to another point. So it is a psychotherapeutic element in Buddhist culture. The marriage transference is a psychotherapeutic element. The psychotherapeutic elements mean it connected to your mind. So it is connected to mind. So it is a way you are having kind of knowledge, as well as through this one, you can see it is a kind of way you are controlling your emotion. If you used to practice something wrong, you can replace good things, and as a kind of psychotherapeutic aspect. So alleviations of suffering, cultivations of compassion, interconnectedness and continuity of a consciousness, accumulations of positive karma, connection with ancestors. So you see that when you go through this, I'm not going to take much time to explain one by one. To I think bit not okay with the continuity of consciousness mean. What is that? What I mentioned there? Actually, you see that it is of course understanding result of the action. If you are having the bad result, you will get the bad result. If you are having the bad action, bad result. Good action, good result. Something like that. Continuity of its mean. Every action that we are engaging has a reaction. So that is what we have to understand. If we are working with a full of jealousy towards others, so same reaction we also have to expect from them. If we are taking revenge, also other people taking revenge. If we are working with an angry mood, so we cannot expect other people are looking at and working with very pleasant mind. So then you have to understand how you react to others, how you having kind of attitude. Those attitude also definitely you also have to experience from other people. So and as well as it is a way you are accumulating positive karma. So neither question I so can we actually kind of a decrease or subside to negative karma through the positive karma? It means we are engaging so many good wholesome deeds. So as a result of that, can we reduce? Can we kind of way dispel negative karma? This is another point. We cannot exactly say whether it is really possible because we have so many examples. We have an opinion, we have an idea. Actually, it is happened like this. Why I mentioned is the psychotherapeutic elements. We are taking the things out of world method by using our faculties, our eye, our nose, our ear. By those things using, we are taking the fact in the outer world. So then you can imagine it is like a storage. So the storage, what you are now putting, you are keeping the good things. If your mind full with the good thoughts, good action, good behavior, the positive things, your mind produce also the same. Your mind not going to produce something wrong. Your action not going to be detrimental to yourself or others. Your thoughts pattern not going to be harmful to yourself or others. Your behavior not going to be detrimental to yourself or others. So how you nourish, how you change, how you develop your mind. So the mind always produce good things. When what happen, then the something wrong thing in the society, when the something wrong thing when you have to experience, then your mind train not to attach it, not to take those, not to attach to those, not to grasp those things. Why? You have developed your mind. So again, you can come to another point, as I mentioned earlier, the level of your knowledge. So the way you look at something, if your mind is full with good thoughts, compassion, kindness, good, positive qualities, the mind doesn't want to take any garbage from outer world. The same like that. So because you are not taking garbage from the outer world because of your knowledge. But if you are not having knowledge, the garbage, mean the wrong thing, wrong opinion, wrong behaviors, wrong thing that you are seeing through the socialization, you get as thinking this is right. That is why if you are accepting merits, whether it is possible to transfer merits, depend on your understanding. So you can go through the word of the Buddha, then you can by yourself examine whether it is possible or impossible. So this is the psychotherapeutic element. Even though whether it is possible or not about that thinking, but this is the, something like the people use to console their mind, to make actually when they are having so many, you know that the separations of good people, separation of your beloved ones, having spent so many years together, you in a family context could be, you think you can imagine your experience. So how you feel it, that repent, that pain, that lamentation you have to undergo is actually very massive. So in a moment like that, if like these things, if you are practicing, is a kind of way, psychologically, it is really helpful for you to control your emotion to some extent. So then actually there's another point. It is that's why when we think like, okay, whether it is really possible or not, or impossible, but more than that, it is something, it is unique thing, it is very useful thing to control your kind of a thought pattern, kind of a emotion. So then now we come to the 𝗘𝗵𝗶 Sutta. Okay, I got an initial step for you sometimes, but let's go. You have opportunity for through the Google, you can just type the 𝗘𝗵𝗶 Sutta, you can go through the meaning easily. But the story I'm not going to tell here now. You know the story. The central theme of the 𝗘𝗵𝗶 Sutta explaining about the karma, rebirth, and departed ones and merits transferring. So the story is actually, you know, that the King Bimbisara, so after giving some food for the offering dana for the Buddha, but he was actually unable to transfer merit for this departed one. They were waiting. Departed relatives were waiting or thinking that the king will transfer merit for them. Unfortunately, it was not happen. Then on the same day, on that day itself night, so the king actually have to see some, like he went some dreams, and he dreams actually those dreams like threaten something kind of a not peaceful thing. So he really got sad, and he was really afraid. So then he informed to the Buddha what he experienced last night. And another important thing, the dreams in many suttas you will see in the Sutta Pitaka, the dreams actually in Indian society, even the Hinduism, even the Jainism also, that they give some priority for the dreams. But even the suttas also, we see in the several places that the dream had kind of a meaning. Dream has kind of a meaning. It is a different topic I just mentioned. But after revealing the story, what he experienced, then Buddha explained the reason why you have to undergo something like some kind of situation like that. That's the main purpose of actually this preaching this sutta. So especially he heard that kind of unearthly noise. So that was the reason. Then the next day he prepared the alms and offered to the Buddha, and he transferred merits. Then everything okay was okay. Then after that, but this come under the Anguttara Nikaya, especially Anguttara Nikaya. There are 15 texts and Kuddaka Pata. This sutta coming. So another important thing, in the sutta we get the word peta. So people have some different opinion that who is the peta. Who are the petas? So whether they are actually, some people having some misunderstanding, petas mean some kind of a ghost, or some kind of people who really make any harmful to other people, the living people. Remember, in teaching of the Buddha, Nobya mentioned that the departed ones, they are they are appearing and they are doing some kind of harmful thing, disturbance to others. Cannot. But only in the story of this 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽𝗀𝗀𝗃 Sutta, the disturbing mean actually they are not disturbing, not doing any harmful thing, but they are requesting. They don't have a way to request it. They don't have a way to request. They need merits. So that is why it is like symbolizes like that way. But it is not something you need to get. Some people are actually they are thinking, then they are getting afraid, thinking that it could be something wrong, something they will do something harmful thing to our life. No, anything like that. But this is the way they are actually communicating. They are asking and requesting. They need something from the people who are capable to do some merits. From them, they need something for their life. So when we go through this word 𝗘𝗵𝗶, is the meaning explained in the Janusoni Sutta clearly. I think this is the best meaning. Okay, the 𝗘𝗵𝗶 means nothing more than departed. The 𝗘𝗵𝗶 mean departed ones, no any other meaning. But sometimes we are having some, I think it's come actually from the Veda text, in the Hindu text, Veda text, because they are also use this same word 𝗘𝗵𝗶, but the meaning they give actually, those who are coming in a different form, and sometimes they are requesting something from the beloved ones, but the way they request is sometimes people feel it is a way they are sometimes torturing, and sometimes they are making some huge noise and making some kind of harmful things, but not something like that in Buddhism. This is a different understanding. In Buddhism, nowhere mentioned they can do any harmful thing to living people, but then only they are requesting. The requesting way could be a little bit not okay to us, because it is not our normal way to live in. Then when they are requesting something, you feel something different. That is no need to get afraid, but better to transfer merits for them. And in the Digha Nikaya also mentioned 𝗘𝗵𝗏 𝗥ඛිනං දජ්ජා 𝗘𝗵𝗏 𝗃𝗏 𝗥ඛිනං 𝗏𝗏 So the best way for them to having some organizing some meritorious deeds and transferring merits. And another word we get from the Jataka stories, 𝗏 Actually, here the 𝗏 mean the 𝗘𝗵𝗏 have another meaning. Actually, the people like living in the low level. It's mean not like here the 𝗏 mean. So we are expecting human qualities from people. If you are not seeing the human qualities from people, humanitarian qualities from the people, so they are of course 𝗏. If they are full with jealousy, full with anger, full with kind of unwholesome things, so of course they are 𝗏, because they are not suitable, because they are luckily, because of the merits they have born in the human world, but unfortunately they are not protecting the qualities of the humans. So that is what we call in the Jataka stories. You see, always we meet the Bodhisattva as well as another different character, the character totally the opposite to the Bodhisattva's attitudes. So those characters are explained by using the word 𝗏, even though they born as human, but like sometimes Devadatta is previous lives, we see the things he did for the people, like they are making so many harmful things, so many detrimental things, so many dangerous things to the society. So then those are called 𝗏. Okay, I hope basically you understood. 𝗘𝗵𝗏 is a word only to represent the departed one. That is not the meaning. Normally we are having something like a ghost or the kind of dangerous different part, but they are only the human. They are only the being, but not human being, but they are requesting merit from you. That's what only happening there, nothing else. People are giving some different meaning, but no, in Buddhism it is only in the Vedas text. In the Veda text we are having some different meaning, like ghost or something. And when we go to the stories, no need, especially leave that one. So you will see that Samyutta Nikaya, in the Lakkana Samyutta, if you want to further study, I'm giving some kind of reference for you. So in the 𝗘𝗵𝗶 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗀 and 𝗘𝗵𝗶 in the Kuddaka Nikaya. So these two things, you see that 𝗵𝗵𝗿 and 𝗘𝗵𝗿 in the 𝗵𝗵𝗿 and 𝗘𝗵𝗿, entire the Kuddaka Nikaya, you have a two version, two texts, 𝗵𝗵𝗿 and 𝗘𝗵𝗿. You will see that the dead departed spirit in the 𝗘𝗵𝗿 explain about the unhappy ghost and the represented, and whereas the 𝗵𝗵𝗿 explain the happy ones. So happy ones, some people, if they are born in the different place, those who are not okay to receive the merits what we transfer, they are unhappy. So that is what explained in the 𝗵𝗵𝗿, 𝗘𝗵𝗿, the text of the 𝗘𝗵𝗿. But 𝗵𝗵𝗿 explain the happy gods, those who are okay to receive the merits. So that is why we are having a lot of opportunity to do medicine, but less opportunity to transfer merits. Everybody cannot receive the merits what we transfer. Therefore, the protecting the being as a human and living as a human being and doing the good wholesome deed during your living is more important than you depend on someone and expecting someone the merits after passed away. So this is the what you can gain. And also entire the Lakkana Sangyutta, you will see it's mentioned the various kind of petas who are suffering, because this thing Buddha explained, but only Buddha can see, because Buddha had a special skills to see the things like this: චුතුපපාත ඥාන, දිබ්බචක්ඛු ඥාන, ආසවක්ඛ්‍ය ඥාන, දිබ්බසෝත ඥාන, so චුතුපපාත ඥාන. So Buddha had a great knowledge to see how come the result of the action what they have done previous lives, how affected to this life, and where they are born, where they have born after passed away. And also he has the skills to see those. This is the word of the Buddha. So then we are not having this super knowledge, then we sometimes think it could be whether it is possible. So it is a question, okay, normal question that that can have raise everyone, but still we have to understand these are of course uttered by the Buddha with his knowledge. So then you have many places to see these things. The Sangyutta Nikaya, Lakkana Sangyutta, so explain about the features about the departed ones, where they have born and what kind of a lives they are having. So then discussions of the sutta, the time of course almost close to 1 hour, but you can go through the sutta easily, you can get the meaning. So it is started like Tirokuddesu Tittanti Sandhi Singata Kesucha Dwara Bhasasu Tittanti Agantwana Sakamgarang. So Sakamgarang, they are actually, you will see after they have after they passed away, they are coming, actually they are expecting merits from you. It is explained here. So they are expecting merits as staying in where that outside the walls they stand, and at the junction and the crossroad they stand at the doorpost and having returned to their own home. So with this you don't misunderstand. They are coming because they are expecting merits. Nowhere in the teaching of the Buddha mentioned that they can do anything harmful thing to living people. So never, it is never mentioned, nowhere mentioned in the teaching of the Buddha. Then the sutta is continuing like this: Evang dadati ñātīnaṃ ye hunti anukampaka. The lot of verses we used to see, lot of stanzas we used to read during the transferring of merits. Example, idam vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñāto. We are quoted from this sutta. So it is mentioned they are expecting like this because relatives, they are doing some wholesome things and they kappiyang pana bhojanam. So like idam vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñāto. Finally they are expecting after doing the wholesome deed, all our relatives having received our merits, may they happy with the merits what we transfer to them. And also their situation explained in the sutta, the departed one's situation. Nahi tatta kasiyati gorakkena vijjati. They cannot do any work. They cannot do any farming. They cannot do any cattle, no cattle herding found. No business there. So then they are expecting merits from the departed one. So that is how you can see that the Buddha explained throughout the sutta, especially in the initially, they are expecting merits, and then explain the situation of their life. So what kind of a life they are having. They are of course helpless. Then they need merits, and after doing the good wholesome deeds, they expect in merits, and after they receive in the merits, they are very happy with the merits that you transfer for them. So you can go through the sutta. I'm not going to further explain one by one. There are 12 verses, and it's give the meaning clearly. Through the meaning you can understand so how that Buddha explained the transferring of merits. Hope you understood throughout this short Dhamma talk, especially so many questions you had raised, so you can further discuss all those questions. But the main intention, of course, this is a kind of a ritual activity what we have been practicing today, but it's a meaningful thing. The philosophy of the Buddha explained this kind of a things. On the one side, actually, what Buddha mentioned, it is with his knowledge. But if we accept entire word of the Buddha, if we accept example, if we accept the 𝗂𝗵𝗶𝗃𝗏𝗏 Sutta, you get the 𝗂𝗵𝗏𝗏 Sutta. We accept 𝗂𝗵𝗏𝗏 Sutta, but still we have a question whether possible to transfer marriage. But if we accept the 𝗂𝗵𝗏𝗏 Sutta, the duty, the duties of the children after passing away their parents, is a duty for them. Their duty to transfer merits, and having done wholesome thing, transferring merits is a duty of the children. So you will see, if we accept the 𝗂𝗵𝗏𝗏 Sutta, why that one concept we are not accepting them? So then, this is not something accepting or rejecting. This is the way you are consoling your mind, showing your gratitude. This is the way you are showing your humanity, one side. On the other side, it is the way you are developing your inner peace. Because if you cannot develop the inner peace, like depend on some other things, then more important in Buddhism, remember, the more important after transferring merits after after departing your relatives, not that the important thing. If you are okay to treat them while they are living, while they are alive, that is what really appreciate in Buddhism. If you go on with many suttas, only less opportunity we are having to transfer merits, because they cannot receive the merits perfectly as we are expecting. But that is not going to waste. If they are born in the suitable realms, only then they can receive the merits what you transfer. But otherwise, it is impossible for them to receive. So therefore, if you can protect the qualities of the human, as well as if you can do the wholesome thing while you are living, if you can treat your parents while you are living, so that is what highly appreciated, admired in the teaching of the Buddha. So hope we will we listen the word of the Buddha. Actually, basically the based on the Tirokutta Sutta, I personally believe you got an idea. So if you have some other things to further understanding, so you can raise, I believe. So merits that we accrued, all the merits, let's transfer. This is, we are in the period of chimbing. So the merits, you will listen to the Dhamma. It is a very important thing, listening Dhamma. So through the listening Dhamma only you can enhance your knowledge, you can develop your knowledge, you can develop your mind only by listening the word of the Buddha. So you listen to the word of the Buddha and also some additional details. So all the merits you accrued by engaging this. So let's transfer for the departed one. We will wish, having received our merits, may our departed relatives rejoice in these merits. May they find peace and happiness throughout their sansaric journey. Finally, may they attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Wishing them, saying sadhu, 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 sadhu. Okay, you are feel free to ask if you have any question. Thank you.
Bante, there is a question. Is it necessary to pour water when we chant the Idame Natinam?
No, at all no. It is not necessary thing. That is but easy to concentrate. We are having this kind of a thing, easy to concentrate, because our mind used to move in here and there. It's a normal, because we are human being. It is not abnormal thing. Normally our mind cannot concentrate to focus on one matter. But when we pour water into cup, very easy for us to concentrate, because you can see through the empty one, thinking your departed one, and from your heart you are showing kindness for them, like that. But not necessary thing.
There is another question. If you donate money to monastery, but put the third person name, will the third person enjoy the merits?
I didn't get properly it.
For example, now I'm doing dana. I donate some money to the temple. The money is come from my salary, but I put it in my father's name. Will the person enjoy the merit, either living beings or the departed one?
Yeah, actually, this is, of course, mind-centered teaching. So how you do it from your mind, okay, it is the one who perform this activity. So it should be, he should be okay with the mind, why he is doing this one and what intention he is having. So actually his intention is to doing this one, whether whatever thing he using, no problem, because if mind is not clear, then no merit there. Any other question? I think I explained some question like can transfer merits. I think you can understand it. So I no need to give answer for this one. So hope through the Dhamma talk you get a bit. If you want to further clarify the things, so you can still ask, no problem. Here to understand something.
Yeah, there is one more question. If the departed one already reborn again as a human being, so the merit beneficial to the newly reborn or still back to the departed identity at the cemetery?
Actually, so human being cannot receive the merits. So in the teaching of the Buddha, it's a very clearly mentioned, the merits can actually receive only the people who born in paradattupajevi. The meaning paradat mean depend on others. The meaning is depend on others. Those who are born in other, there are another three kind of the place. In these three places, those who are born, those who born, they cannot receive the merits. But if with the power of merit, if those born in the heaven or as a human being in the human world, but these merits, of course, not going to waste, because you are still transferring merits. Your mind is, of course, doing the gratitude and showing the gratitude for them. But even there also you are earning again merits, because when you do the merit transferring, it is a dana. But if you are doing it really in the right way, it is also dana. Again, that merits, of course, give good result for you.
Okay, so the human being, once he reborn already, they will not receive the merit. But the balance question, is it the merit will go to the departed identity? No more, right?
Yeah, no more.
Yeah, there's one more question. Can Bhante explain the meaning of the paragraph before we chant the 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽𝗀 by the monks? Usually monks will say something.
Usually, I explain is easy, the 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽𝗀. So 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽𝗀. So this is a way we are actually this in Pali, but we should always sorry, my internet is something wrong. You can hear still, am I audible? Okay. Actually, these verses we are saying these verses because too easy to concentrate. But if you are not go with the meaning, it is useless just telling, because we are telling the word of the Buddha, not the word of the God. Because the word of the God we call mantras. Even the chanter doesn't know the meaning, even the listener doesn't know the meaning. But we are okay to have enough material to know the meaning. 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽𝗀, this merits, what we do now, all the merits, 𝗘𝗵𝗶𝗽𝗀, may they receive our merits, 𝗂𝗵𝗏, may they have a better life, better reborn, better, may they be happy with the merits that we transfer. That's the simple way. But just chanting not enough, but according to my intentions, it is better to go with the meaning also.
Okay, thank you, Bhante, for your time today.
Okay. May the triple gem bless all of you. Thank you.